Simone.
Okay.
And it really fits me right now because of Shesapiens.
Okay, awesome. Well, and of course the amazing female singer of the US, Nina Simone, which is one of my favorites. So a little bit about you. So you're German. What part of Germany are you from?
I'm a German Normid because I've born in the north, but
okay.
I moved 8 times.
You moved 8 times within Germany?
Within Germany, with my family.
Okay.
And I did a degree close to the French border.
Okay.
And also I did my university close to the Swiss border, so southwest of Germany.
Okay. How many languages do you speak?
6.
Oh my gosh! She's one of those, right? I also interviewed a woman recently who spoke 6 languages, and it's just like, wow, so impressed and respect you.
Well, people in Europe have it a little bit easier, you know.
yeah, it's true. You don't have much of a choice.
Yeah.
So I know you because of the Shesapiens community that you founded, that I'm a member of, that we're going to talk about. But before we do that, I want to hear a little bit about your journey. I know you were a former journalist, and give us a snapshot of like how you got to where you are today.
A snapshot. That's
a short journey. Yeah.
Well, of course, it's a long journey, and it also has to do with finding myself. So I was working as a journalist back then. 10 years back, I worked in print, but also in television. And then I decided one day I would like to see something new. So I transferred to Portugal and worked here in an online newsroom.
Why Portugal?
That's
everybody asks me that question all the time. So I want to hear your answer.
Intuition.
Okay.
I arrived here in Lisbon and I felt suddenly this energy, this light, and I smelled opportunity, so I couldn't resist, and I stayed.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so I worked in journalism and in an online newsroom, and so over the years I felt some kind of frustration coming up inside of me. I felt not being fully appreciated as a woman, as an academic woman. And also I felt that what I was doing did not have enough impact in society. So I felt it was not really profound, and I did not want to create any more clickbait or like writing about the same stereotypical stories that you can read.
Right.
Yeah. So I left journalism right at the moment as a peak of my career, when my boss was celebrating me for selling an article.
Okay.
I felt so disappointed. Like the whole office was clapping for something I couldn't be proud of.
All right. Yeah.
And this was a moment I said, I have to leave, and I quit the same day.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Listening to your intuition like that is super powerful, especially in a moment where you should, they say you should be feeling amazing, and then you you don't. Okay, great. And so you are, everything about you, as I know you, I've known you, and not super long now, but you are this quintessential community builder. Like that's what you're about.
Yeah.
So you started an organization called Shesapiens, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I'm really curious, like, why is community so important for you? Why are you so passionate about building community?
For many reasons. I would say that my personal reason is because I would like to see impact on a larger scale. And if I can choose to have like personal impact in a one-on-one relationship, or having an impact on hundreds or thousands of people, personally I choose the big mass because I want to see impact in the world. So this is my personal reason, but of course community operates as a support system.
Yeah.
It gives us this incredible feeling of like belonging to each other, that we can be accountable and rely on each other. And I think this is really the power of community, and it's just pure happiness, I would say. And we learn this when we are young, but we are not really aware of it. It's like when you join a gym or a sport club, like you have the same feeling. It's also community, but we don't really learn how to bring the same positive vibes and structures into our adult lives when we are like trained to be strong and successful and
Well, I think one of the biggest struggles that I see today, and I know like this is a personal problem that I struggle with all the time, is, you know, so many of us are working from home now, or remote working is so trendy or whatever, and it is so hard. It is so hard. Like you wake up in the morning and you're working from your room or your house or whatever, and you're all by yourself. And I'll be honest, some days I don't leave my house and I feel like I'm going insane. Literally, I feel like I'm going insane. And so this idea of community, and I know it's been a buzzword for, you know, at least 10 years now, where, building community. But it's one of these foundational components of a healthy life. If you don't have community, then I don't think you can be a healthy, contributing member of society. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think if we think about community, most of us have like community in presence in their head. So like in their neighborhood, with their friends, going out together, or going to the sports club. And I think the in-person interaction is super important. But at the same time, and I think COVID has proved that, is that online communities can be also super impactful. And I mean, we had Clubhouse, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, I was just thinking about Clubhouse yesterday. And it's funny because I couldn't remember what it was called. I was like, wait, what was the name of that thing that was really exciting for a while, and then it just dropped off.
Yeah, and also our favorite brands, they are like slowly turning into consumer brands and communities.
Yes.
Like companies are trying to establish more and more this community spirit. So Lululemon, for example, or Lego, Nike, they all have nowadays like forums where you can interact with other customers or with other experts from the industry. So this is also a super interesting development. So I would say like community nowadays, doesn't matter if online or offline, we're surrounded by it.
Yeah. Well, you can see last night I was creating a channel for a event I'm doing with my friends. I was creating a channel on WhatsApp on communities, right? They have this new feature since September 2023 or something. And I had to watch a few YouTube videos to figure out how to do it. And I was like, oh my God, like look at all these brands on here that have these communities. So it's really... It's almost, it's unusual to not have a community as a brand these days, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So let's talk about Shesapiens. Okay. All right. So Shesapiens is, and I'll read exactly the way it's written on your website because I think it just encapsulates it so well. Shesapiens is on a mission to hold space for women so they feel more empowered and inspired in their businesses through events and collaborations. Yes. So I met you through Shesapiens at an event here in Lisbon, a breakfast. And I remember when I arrived at this event, I didn't know what I was getting into. You know, sometimes you just sign up and you don't even pay attention. And I remember being greeted very warmly, maybe by you, maybe by Julia, and meeting probably like 20 women. And then we all sat down at a table and there was a beautiful spread of food. And then you led the conversation and you invited everyone to introduce themselves. And we went around in a circle, and everyone shared in a really authentic, meaningful way. And it wasn't the typical, my business is this and I can help you do this, which is really, it's common, and sure, we all need to do marketing, but it gets tiring, and I've come to a place where I just want to connect with people, and if later on I find out what you do or you find out what I do, then great, we can have a conversation about that. But often leading with what we do can feel a little inauthentic or forced. So I was really so impressed, and I felt so nicely held by that event. And I thought, oh, it's so nice to finally land in a community that feels genuine.
Yeah.
And that's what I get from the Shesapiens events that I've been to so far. So thank you, first of all, for those. And I want to ask, what inspired you to start this group? Was there a particular moment that you said, I'm going to do this thing? Like, is there a story that is like the origin story of Shesapiens?
Yeah, I mean, there are actually several stories, because we are 3 founders. It's me, Julia, and Jasmine. We all come from 3 different countries. We all have 3 different backgrounds. And I started something that was in particularly female founders breakfast. So this signature style event that we're still doing until today, and where you met me. And behind my personal story, behind my reason, there is this personal story, of course, and it was that I'm known as a community builder and event host, and one day I got approached by a woman, and she said, don't you think that there is not enough out there for women like us, like female entrepreneurs? And I was like, do you feel so? So maybe let's change that. Right. And she said, would you do something like that? Would you organize something for women? And at first I was a little bit hesitating, because I was never feeling super secure around women, and
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And during my childhood and youth, I was doing a lot of sports, and sports are very competitive, and especially between women, it's always this envy, and
it can be,
so I was never really feeling comfortable around women, and but I gave it a try, and I did this first breakfast event. And fun fact, the woman that asked me to create this event, she never attended.
Oh, how funny!
Not even once.
She gave you this little clue, like a breadcrumb.
Yeah. And her reason was, because I of course asked her, so why don't you come? And she said, because she feels that the female entrepreneurs that were attending my breakfast were not her level. And I was like, girl,
oh, wow.
You haven't learned anything.
Oh, wow.
And then I was like, and this was really the starting point for me to think, like, why are women like that? Like, why can't they just be open and like celebrating sisterhood and supporting each other? It doesn't matter which level of maturity or how big is your bank account. Why can't we just not support each other regardless?
Yeah.
So, and then it became very popular, the event, and
when you say very popular, like how many women were attending regularly at that time in the beginning?
So first event we were 15, and then like very quickly we had like up to 100 women on the wait list for a breakfast.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, you said it was very nice and safe, the feeling that you got.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what we want to create. We want to create a safe space. We want to create a beautiful experience, and for that it's important that we don't have 100 women at once.
Right. Because then it becomes a networking,
exactly.
like, here's my business card. Nobody likes those events.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. We would like to have like something more intimate with quality, where people can talk profoundly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. Well, you've done it as far as I can see. And so that woman who said there aren't that many events for women entrepreneurs, women founders, is that still true? Do you think? Well, and that was her opinion. Did you think it was true then, and do you think it's true now?
I would say back then it was true, but since we started, so 2 years ago, I would say that a lot of things popped up for women, and I also we have to be proud of ourselves, because I think that there were a lot of women feeling super encouraged by the events that we were hosting. So they started their own women's circles, like founder circles with wine and women in tech and all of these initiatives. So I would say that this encouraged a lot of other women to do similar things.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So you started in Lisbon, and now you've got chapters in, and I'm going to read this off because there's so many. It's amazing. So chapters in Lisbon, Amsterdam, Costa Rica, London, New York, Paris, Porto, and Stockholm. That's pretty amazing.
And Amsterdam.
Yes, I said it. I think I said it. Okay, so how many members do you have now?
Oh, I honestly don't know, because so here's the thing. We started as a non-profit. We started as open for donations. So we popped up in several locations, just having women around, like having them included in our communication chats. And they were not monetized. So they are members, but they are kind of early adopters, and they got everything for free. So, and right now, being a business, and even today, I don't know the exact number today, but we have members that pay for the community, and this is where we want to see us in the future, right? So we want to monetize this. But we also have a bunch of people that are not paying, because they're there since the beginning. So if I would count all of them, I would say like 2,000 maybe.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, as far as I can see, it's still just the beginning, right? Because so the events, I mean, the Shesapiens was built on these events and collaborations, like that's in your mission statement. So you've got the Female Founders Breakfast. And I went to the Conscious Breakfast the other day, where we had a sound bath first thing in the morning, which made me a little anxious, I have to say, because I was like, I have so much to do. But it was amazing. It was a beautiful event. What are some of the other events that you have for members?
So we're doing workshops, in-person workshops, and now also online masterclasses with you soon.
Yes, that's so exciting.
Yeah, so this is online. And then we had some different kind of special events that we collaborated with other organizations. We did, for example, a beach cleanup. We attended an event for mothers and in entrepreneurship. We hosted a Shesapiens birthday. I think you were also there. Our first birthday.
Oh yeah, that was a great party. Yeah, it was at this beautiful palace in Lisbon. And,
exactly. And now we're hosting the International Women's Weekend in March.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I won't be here for that, but it looks amazing. Yeah, and I want to make a special plug for the masterclasses, because right now, Bryony McKenzie is doing the first one. Bryony McKenzie is also, she's a coach of mine, and she coaches women entrepreneurs in their businesses. And then I'm teaching a masterclass in late March, mid-April, about sales mastery, so communication skills and sales. So all the skills that women entrepreneur, I mean, any entrepreneur needs, but if you're a woman entrepreneur, this is a great vehicle for learning, for sure. And then there's a podcast as well, which I was listening to on the way here. Yeah.
We're looking for a new host though.
Oh, really? Elizabeth she can't do it anymore?
Yeah, you know, like it's difficult. Like when you're starting out, then in the beginning, like you have to be available to do it all.
Yeah.
And this can be very fast, very overwhelming. So unfortunately, she had to step back because she has another agency on the side.
I see. Okay, all right. If you want to host a podcast, then.
And we are, by the way, we're also looking more for a male podcast host.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Because we thought, like, who would recognize that women are like so amazing and awesome? who would recognize this? I think like men should recognize this in the first place. So we thought that this would create a beautiful mix of energies.
I like that. And you know, I was actually noticing the other day, I listen to a lot of podcasts like we all do, and I noticed that I tend to listen to podcasts by men quite a bit, like Tim Ferriss, Andrew Huberman, like all these, you know, like productivity guys. I don't know why, like I'm so into this. And I was looking and I, for some reason, I felt that day, I was like, I just want to listen to a woman right now. And I noticed I didn't have any women in my podcast library. And I thought, this is really interesting. But I would definitely say that there are way more male podcasts hosted by males, and then I find that the males tend to have males as their guests because well, I don't know why, but I would imagine it feels natural to do that. I don't think there's any intention to like leave women out, but I think you know, I don't know. That's my theory.
Never thought about that, to be honest. But Matthew Hussey, if you're watching this right now.
Yes, Matthew Hussey, I love your work.
Yeah. So someone like him, we would love to have as a host.
Okay, Matthew. I don't know if you're free, but yeah. Okay, so I want to know. So obviously, the Shesapiens community is growing. Why do you think the message that you have for this community, why do you think that's resonating so much right now?
That's an interesting question, and it's an important one. I would say because we're redefining what entrepreneurship really means. And by that I mean that the traditional view and outlook on entrepreneurship is like that you have to hustle 24/7, that you have to maybe join an incubator, that you have to get VC funds. And all of this is not true anymore, and it shouldn't be like that, because a lot of people, unfortunately, they find themselves on a path that is super toxic and unhealthy. They're going straight to burnout after founding their business, and this is not how it should be. And especially for us women, when we have to at any time wear so many hats, like business, family, right? At the same time, we have to be beautiful and kind, and you know, I think like we really have to promote a more holistic outlook on entrepreneurship that creates healthy routines and that creates community, so that we can all support each other and that we can grow our businesses in a sustainable way.
Yeah, that resonates with me so much, because I mean, as is proofed by my podcast listening habits, like I'm so focused on productivity all the time. How can I do 15 million things at once? You know, like I'm constantly working that angle.
That's so American, isn't it?
It's so American. It's so American, and it's also very Capricorn. I'm a double Capricorn, so I'm just like always blah blah blah. But you know, lately especially, I've been having like some health stuff, and I know that it's because of that. And so, for example, when I said yes to the conscious breakfast the other day, and I see there's a 2-hour block out of my calendar where I'm not going to be productive, right? And yeah, it causes me some anxiety. And then, like, honestly, when I was in the sound bath, I was just like, why am I so anxious right now? What's my problem? You know, like, why is it so hard to just close my eyes? And Yeah. You know, like, yeah, we have to get things done, but is it really worth our health? Is it really worth, I mean, this is our life, you know?
Yeah, but maybe, have you thought about it that social synergies are actually the best productivity hack that you can have?
100%. And this is kind of where I've come to after having this thought process and like bumping up against this wall. Because like, let's face it, we all like going to parties, I would imagine. I love going to parties. I'm really good at a party. I can work the room, talk to people, make new friends. I'm really good at that. And business is built on relationships. And I think I forget that often. And so I'm always like behind my computer or creating content, and I forget about the relationships that are necessary to make the business sustainable. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think, you know, you can go to 100 networking events per week as long as the people you encounter there share the same values. This is the important thing, because if you think about your life and juggling so many projects at the same time, you want to create social synergies with people that have all the same values, so you can actually use these resources like in a smart and effective way. But if you go to 100 networking events with different people that do not really match, that do not really fit, then in the end of the day, when you have to create something from scratch, you start from zero, because you cannot actually match your relationships.
And then it becomes draining and exhausting.
Exactly.
Well said. So what's, big picture question, what's the big vision for Shesapiens? Like in 5 years, in 10 years, what do you see?
I thought when you talk about the big picture, you asked me about what is in 50 years.
Oh, 50, well,
because I could answer that as well.
Sure, do all of it,
Yeah, so Shesapiens wants to become the biggest entrepreneurial network for women in the world.
Nice.
And
I love that.
Yeah, and we would like to be present everywhere on this planet, like in every country ideally, because in our mission is really that we are diverse and inclusive, and we would like to support women all around the globe. It doesn't matter their financial power, their cultural background, to actually succeed in their business and in their personal life.
Nice. I love the confidence in that vision. And when that happens,
yes,
how do you see that changing the world?
Yeah, so I would say right now we are already on track with a few technologies and ideas that really change this world, like AI and Web3. These are like first approach that I think create a more equal and diverse world and society. And I think that if Shesapiens succeeds, and in like 10 years we have Shesapiens also, for example, in Kenya, and we have it in Thailand, and we have it in Germany and Portugal, then we have to find a currency that is not money. We have to think out of the box and, for example, get on blockchain or create any kind of platform that runs in an alternative way. And we always promote collaboration. So just imagine that we would in the future not use money anymore in order to exchange our services. We would purely use our fuel, our collaboration to succeed. So I'm giving you this and you give me something else. And then how this would work on a larger scale is like I do something for you, but then I get something back, not maybe from you, but maybe from someone else. So it's like karma exchange.
Right.
If you want.
Okay, interesting. I love that. Yeah, I like that vision a lot. Nice.
Yeah.
And why is this the right time for Shesapiens and the mission and the vision? Why now?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why now? I mean, I think that women in the last decade really learned how to step into their power and how to be more independent. They understood that they don't need a man on their side in order to be successful. We have access to so many resources that enable us to live all our dreams at the same time. We can have a business, but at the same time we also can have 5 kids. So
I don't know if I want 5.
Same here, but you can adopt 5.
That's true. Or 11, yeah, I guess.
So I would say it's just the right time because we're living in the right era, but at the same time, women always did great things. They just never really had the opportunity to talk about it and to promote it and to empower others. And right now we have all these tools that enable us to share it to the whole world.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I think it's also worth saying that the problems that we're dealing with as a society and as a global community today would benefit from some female leadership as well.
Definitely, because like women are the better investors for sure.
And what's the number on that?
What's the data? Told you recently. The data is that on each dollar invested, women generate you $1.1 in return, whereas men, for example, funded by some VCs, only generate you $0.8 in return. So they tend to lose money. And if we look on the best performing companies in the United States, for example, then we see that women are highly underrepresented in leadership positions. Same is in politics. So I think that if women would have more power, more money, and would be like equal in leadership positions, then the world would definitely change to be a better world.
And it's happening little by little, day by day. It's happening, right? And with organizations like Shesapiens, it's becoming more possible every day. So thank you for building this. Thank you. And I have one last question for you. I, of course, am a communications coach and trainer, and I teach people how to tell stories. And I'm curious for you, what do you feel is the most powerful communication tool that you use to help spread the message about Shesapiens? So when I say tool, it could be anything, really.
Okay.
Just whatever comes up.
I would say stand in your unique power. If you're a positive human being, then keep spreading positivity. Don't try to pretend to be super serious or busy or whatever. If this is not your true essence, then don't even try to be someone else. And the second thing that I learned is compassion is the greatest thing ever, and it's also a weapon, because we find each other in so many different situations where we have to react and to communicate, and often we just forget to be compassionate with whoever is on the other side. And so I think compassion is a great value you should have.
I totally agree. Compassion and just being able to listen to someone who has a different opinion from yours. It's one of the things I see people struggle with the most is just opening your ears and allowing another opinion to come in. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we're struggling so much with polarity in politics right now, for sure.
I think often communication nowadays is only transaction, but it should be interaction.
Yes. Oh, I love that. 100% agree. All right, Nina Simone, thank you so much for your time, and we will share all the information about Shesapiens and how you can become a member and the master classes and all that in the show notes. So thank
you so much. I would love to welcome you soon. And then you can also join the amazing masterclass of Rebecca.
Yeah. All right. Bye.